Have you ever felt like you're sinking? Not in the literal sense like drowning in a pool, but sinking in a turbulent sea of chaotic thoughts, relentless expectations, and questions that seem to echo into a void with no answers. It's that gut-wrenching feeling of reaching for something solid, a plan, a purpose, a truth, only to watch it slip through your fingers like sand. The harder you grasp, the more it escapes, leaving you floundering, wondering if you'll ever find your footing. But what if I told you that sinking isn't something to fight or fear? What if, instead of struggling against the current, you could learn to let it carry you, to trust that it will hold you up? Imagine a life where you don't need to cling to certainties, where you can float freely, weightless, in the flow of existence. That's the promise of Zen, not a rigid doctrine or a quick fix, but a way of being that invites you to embrace the uncertainty and find peace in the movement. Today I want to share a Zen story with you. This isn't a lecture to dissect with your analytical mind or a puzzle to solve with logic. It's a story meant to be felt, absorbed with an open heart and a mind that's willing to let go. Because some truths, the harder you try to pin them down, the further they slip away. So let's set aside the need for answers, take a deep breath, and dive into this journey together. Are you ready? Once upon a time, in a tranquil temple tucked away among whispering pines, where the air hummed with the quiet wisdom of ages, a young Zen student approached his teacher. His heart was ablaze with enthusiasm, his mind alight with the thrill of discovery. He had been poring over ancient texts, diving deep into the poetic wisdom of Buddhist scriptures, and one particular poem had seized his imagination, its words flowing like a mighty river, vibrant and alive. The roar of the torrents is the voice of a great Buddha. The curves of the hills are his pure, sacred body. The student stood before his teacher, his eyes sparkling with the joy of revelation. "Teacher," he said, his voice trembling with excitement, "isn't that true? Doesn't this poem capture the very essence of the universe?" He felt as if he had unlocked a profound secret, as if these words held the key to understanding the cosmos itself. The teacher, an old man whose face bore the weathered lines of countless years spent in contemplation, regarded the student with a gentle smile. His eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to see beyond the young man's fervor. "It is," he said, his voice soft yet steady, like a pebble settling into a still pond. But then his expression shifted, and a quiet weight crept into his words. "But it's a shame you had to say it." The student froze, his excitement dissolving into a cloud of confusion. A shame? Hadn't he just shared something profound, something undeniably true? The poem was beautiful, its imagery a bridge to the divine. What could possibly be wrong with speaking it aloud? His mind raced, grappling for understanding, but the teacher leaned forward, his gaze both piercing and kind, and continued, "If I were an old-school Zen master, I wouldn't waste my breath on words. I'd grab this fan, give the microphone a sharp whack and walk out of here, letting the silence speak for me." The silence that followed was electric, heavy with unspoken meaning. It hung in the air like a bell's lingering chime, reverberating through the temple's stillness. The student's thoughts churned, searching for clarity, but something deeper was already taking root. The teacher's words, or rather his refusal to rely on them, were a revelation in themselves. Zen, he was beginning to see, wasn't found in the elegance of poems or the cleverness of ideas. It wasn't something you could box up in a tidy package of words and claim as your own. Zen was a way of living, a state of being that danced beyond the confines of language. The moment you tried to define it, to pin it down with concepts, you were already drifting away from its heart. Let's pause and think about this. How often do we chase words to make sense of our lives? We label our emotions, happy, sad, anxious, as if naming them gives us control. We categorize our experiences, building intricate mental frameworks to feel grounded, to convince ourselves we've got it all figured out. But what if the truth we're so desperate to find doesn't live in those labels or frameworks? What if it's hiding in the spaces between words, in the quiet moments where language falls away? Zen challenges us to release our need to explain everything, to stop chasing definitions, and to simply be present in the raw, unfiltered experience of life. This isn't about abandoning thought or dismissing the beauty of poetry. It's about recognizing that words, no matter how profound, are only pointers, not the destination. The poem the student loved was a glimpse of truth, but speaking it aloud risked turning it into a cage, a fixed idea that could trap him instead. Instead of setting him free, Zen invites us to step beyond those cages, to embrace the mystery of existence without needing to wrap it in words. So, what does it mean to live this way? To let go of our obsession with clarity and find freedom in the silence. Let's dive deeper and find out. We live our lives as if the world is solid ground, a firm foundation we can build upon. We crave stability, a secure job to pay the bills, a predictable future to plan for, clear answers to life's big, haunting questions. Why am I here? What's the point? We craft routines like blueprints, set goals like stepping stones, and construct identities, parent, professional, dreamer, to anchor ourselves in a chaotic world. We want to stand tall, to feel in control, to believe we've got a grip on this thing called life. But here's the truth we keep dodging. The universe and our own restless minds aren't like land at all. They're like water. Water is alive, fluid, untamable. It slips through your fingers the moment you try to hold it. It laughs at your attempts to stand still, to impose order on its ceaseless flow. You can't build a house on water, carve a path through its currents, or demand it stay put. Yet we keep treating life like it's a fixed, stable thing. We cling to our plans, our relationships, our beliefs, as if they're rocks we can tether ourselves to in a storm. We grip tighter, thinking control will save us. But the harder we hold on, the deeper we sink, pulled under by the weight of our own resistance. Zen offers a radical alternative. Stop trying to stand on water. Learn to swim instead. But this isn't about muscling through the waves with brute force or sheer willpower. Swimming, in the Zen sense, is about surrender. Not giving up, but giving in. It's about relaxing into the flow, letting go of the need to fight the current, and trusting that the water will carry you. It's about breathing in harmony with the rhythm of the waves, moving with them instead of against them. When you swim like this, you don't conquer the water. You become it, fluid, free, and alive. This wisdom feels more urgent than ever in our modern world, where the ground beneath us seems to crumble daily. Philosophers proclaim, God is dead. Science dismantles absolute truths, and the structures of society, politics, culture, community shift like sand in a storm. We're like swimmers tossed into a churning sea, with no lifeboat, no rope, no shore in sight. The chaos is dizzying, the uncertainty suffocating. It's easy to feel like we're doomed to drown in a world stripped of meaning, where nothing feels solid anymore. But Zen doesn't hand you a life preserver or a map to some mythical dry land. Instead, it teaches you to float. It shows you how to breathe deeply, to release the iron grip of control, and to trust that the water, the vast, ever-changing universe, itself will hold you up. Here's the secret that changes everything. You're not separate from the water, you are the water. Your thoughts, your fears, your joys, your very existence, they're all ripples in the same boundless, flowing energy that weaves through every star, every ocean, every heartbeat. When you embrace this truth, the fear of sinking begins to melt away. You stop fighting the waves and start dancing with them, seeing the beauty in their endless, shimmering flow. This is where freedom begins, not in standing still, but in moving with the current, alive to the pulse of the universe. We humans are obsessed with naming things. We slap labels on the mysteries of existence, hoping to tame the vast unknown and make it feel less intimidating. In the West, we often point to the source of the universe and call it God, the Father Almighty. It's a word heavy with history, dripping with centuries of baggage, dogma that demands obedience, guilt that lingers like a shadow, reverence that inspires awe, and rebellion that pushes back against it all. For many, God has become a worn-out term, its once mighty resonance dulled by associations that feel more like chains than wings. It's a word that, instead of opening hearts, often closes them, leaving us trapped in debates and divisions rather than connected to something greater. In the East, different names rise to the surface: Tao, Brahman, Tathata. To Western ears, these words sound exotic, almost mystical, free from the weight of our cultural baggage. They shimmer with the promise of fresh insight, untainted by the arguments and assumptions that cling to God. But here's the catch. Even these words are just signposts, not the destination. They point to something beyond themselves, something that can't be captured in syllables or defined in dictionaries. Take tathata, a Sanskrit word often translated as suchness or just like that. It's not a lofty, grandiose concept, meant to dazzle the intellect. It's as simple, as pure as the dada a baby babbles when they first gaze upon the world. It's not daddy, as hopeful parents might think. It's just that. A raw, unfiltered acknowledgement of existence untouched by analysis, agenda, or expectation. Zen whispers a profound truth. The entire universe is one great tathata, one radiant, boundless, just like that. The towering mountains, the rushing rivers, the twinkling stars, you, me. We're all expressions of this singular, nameless energy. You're not a standalone entity, neatly defined by your job title, your Instagram bio, or the balance in your bank account. You're a wave in the vast, shimmering ocean of existence, unique in your form, yet utterly inseparable from the whole. You rise, you fall, you dance across the surface, but you're always part of the same infinite flow. This idea is both a liberation and a jolt. If you're not just you, then who are you, really? If your identity isn't confined to your name, your achievements, or your carefully curated persona, what's left? And why do we spend so much of our lives gripped by fear, terrified of losing ourselves, our status, our place in the world, our very sense of me? That fear comes from our desperate attachment to a fixed self, a rigid I that we feel we must defend at all costs. We build walls around our identities, clutching them tightly as if letting go would mean disappearing entirely. But Zen invites us to release that illusion, to see it for the fragile story it is. You don't need to prove your existence or cling to a static sense of self. You already are, in every breath, every moment, as a vibrant thread in the infinite tapestry of the universe's suchness. This realization is a game changer. It frees you from the exhausting need to define yourself, to justify your place in the world. Instead of striving to be someone, you can simply be. Instead of fighting to preserve who you think you are, you can flow with life's changes, knowing you're woven into something far greater than any single identity. But if you're truly one with everything, why does fear still creep in? Why do we tremble when life feels like it's slipping away, when the ground beneath us seems to vanish? The answer lies in our resistance to the flow, our refusal to trust the ocean we're part of. Zen challenges us to let go, to dive into the just like that of existence, and to discover the peace that comes from being one with the ever-changing whole. Nature pulses with cycles, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat echoing through the cosmos. Waves surge to crests, then surrender to troughs. Light pours forth, only to soften into shadow before blazing again. Life itself is a mesmerizing dance of yin and yang, a vibrant interplay of opposites that weaves the very fabric of existence. This ebb and flow, this constant push and pull, is the pulse that drives the universe forward. But we humans, tangled in our fears and illusions, often shrink from the low points. Our minds spiral with dread, whispering, "If I hit rock bottom, I'll be trapped there forever. If the light fades, the darkness will swallow everything." This fear is born of a profound misunderstanding. The trough isn't the enemy of the crest, it's its partner. Nothingness doesn't erase everything, it cradles it. They're two sides of the same coin, inseparable, interdependent, locked in an eternal embrace. Without silence, there's no music, just a chaotic jumble of sound. Without emptiness, there's no space for form to take shape. Without death, there's no room for life to bloom anew. These opposites don't cancel each other out. They give each other meaning like brushstrokes of light and shadow, painting the masterpiece of existence. Think about death, the specter that looms largest in our collective fears. We see it as the ultimate end, a gaping void that devours all we are, our dreams, our loves, our very selves. It's the shadow we run from, the final curtain we dread. But Zen offers a radically different lens. death isn't the opposite of life. It's another expression of the same boundless energy. It's the pause between notes that makes a melody possible, the shadow that carves depth into the light. Just as a wave melts back into the ocean only to rise again in a new form, death is part of the cycle that breathes renewal into life. You can't have a symphony with only high notes, just as you can't have existence without the interplay of being and non-being. To live is to flow through both, to embrace the rhythm that binds them. When you start to see this rhythm, something inside you shifts. The lows, the moments of loss, failure, or uncertainty, lose their power to terrify. You stop fighting them, stop fearing they'll consume you. Instead, you begin to see them as essential, even beautiful threads in the tapestry of life. You realize that change isn't a threat to be battled, but the very heartbeat of existence. Instead of clinging to a fleeting moment of perfection, trying to freeze the world in a single, flawless frame, you learn to move with the waves. You swim. You glide, you let the current sweep you into its dance. You become fluid, alive, part of the flow. This is what freedom truly feels like. Not a life free of challenges, but the courage to flow with them. It's the strength to face the ups and downs without grasping desperately at the highs or cowering from the lows. It's the deep, unshakable understanding that life is a dance, and you're not just a dancer, you're the dance itself. Every step, every turn, every rise and fall is part of the choreography of your existence. Zen teaches you to let go of the need to control the rhythm and to trust the music of the universe. When you do, you find a joy that doesn't depend on staying on top, but thrives in the beauty of the whole dance, crest and trough, light and shadow, life and death. This is the freedom to live fully, to love fiercely, to be wholly, vibrantly alive in every moment. Zen slices through the chaos of existence with a single electrifying truth. You are that. You are the nameless, boundless energy that pulses through the universe, igniting stars, churning oceans, and breathing life into every moment. You're not some bystander in the grand cosmic drama, watching the show unfold from the cheap seats. No, the universe is pouring itself through you, expressing its infinite creativity in every thought that flickers through your mind. Every breath that fills your lungs, every heartbeat that marks your time here. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos, alive and vibrant in this very instant. But here's the twist that keeps it interesting. If you were always you, locked into the same identity, the same story, the same face, staring back from the mirror, life would grind to a halt, dull as a song stuck on a single monotonous note. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, doesn't play that way. It keeps things dynamic, ever-shifting, gloriously unpredictable. You don't stay you forever. Like a river reshaping its banks, you dissolve, transform, and re-emerge in new forms, new experiences, new dances. This isn't about losing yourself. It's about becoming something new again and again, a fresh spark in the eternal fire of existence. You're not erased. You're reborn endlessly in the flow of life's great choreography. This realization hits like a wave of relief, lifting a weight you didn't even know you were carrying. You don't have to fear loss because you were never separate from the whole. There's no you to lose. You're a thread in the vast, shimmering tapestry of the universe, woven into its every fiber. You don't have to resist change because change is the rhythm that keeps your existence alive, the beat that drives the dance. You're a spark of eternal energy, constantly shifting, flowing, creating, a living expression of the cosmos itself. As the poet William Blake so brilliantly declared, energy is eternal delight. When you see yourself as that energy, every twist, every turn, every unexpected detour in life becomes a reason to smile. It's not a burden. It's an invitation to leap into the dance with the stars, to sway with the tides, to move with the boundless joy of the universe. This doesn't mean you'll glide through life untouched by pain or doubt. You're human, after all. You'll still feel the sting of heartbreak, the gnaw of uncertainty, the ache of moments that don't go your way. But Zen gives you a deeper lens. Those moments aren't enemies to defeat. They're part of the flow, ripples in the vast river of your existence. You'll meet them with a quiet strength, knowing they're woven into the same energy that fuels your joys and triumphs. The world stops feeling like a battlefield, where every challenge is a fight for survival. Instead, it becomes a playground, a vibrant, ever-changing space where every experience is a chance to move, to create, to be. Zen doesn't promise a life without storms. It teaches you to dance in the rain, to find delight in the whirl of the cosmic waltz, and to embrace every step as a testament to the eternal, radiant energy that is you. Zen isn't a shiny self-help program, peddling quick fixes or glossy promises. It won't dangle the keys to a corner office, guarantee a fairy tale romance, or arm you with bulletproof confidence. It's not here to fix your life or mold you into some idealized version of yourself. Instead, Zen offers something far more profound. It helps you become more fully, gloriously, authentically human. It invites you to embrace every messy, beautiful, imperfect part of yourself and to live with a heart wide open to the raw truth of existence. You're still going to get angry. Maybe you'll snap at a coworker over a missed deadline or seethe in traffic when someone cuts you off. That's human. But Zen teaches you to pause, to notice that anger flaring in your chest without letting it hijack your soul. You'll still feel fear. Perhaps it creeps in before a life-changing decision or whispers in the stillness of a sleepless night. Zen doesn't banish that fear. It shows you how to sit with it, to breathe through it, to let it be without letting it define you. And yes, you'll still fail. Projects will crash, dreams will stumble, plans will unravel. But Zen reveals a quiet truth. Failure isn't a dead end. It's just a ripple in the vast, ever-shifting pond of your life. A moment that passes, not a verdict on your worth. The ancient philosopher Chuang Tzu captured this wisdom with a striking image. The ideal mind is like a mirror. It holds nothing, rejects nothing, reflects clearly, and lets go. A mirror doesn't cling to the faces it shows, nor does it flinch from the shadows. It simply reflects what's there moment by moment, without judgment or attachment. Living with Zen means cultivating a mind like that, open, receptive, untethered. It means seeing your emotions, your victories, your struggles as fleeting reflections on the surface of your being, not as the core of who you are. Anger, joy, fear, success, they come and go, but you remain, steady and vast, like the still water beneath the ripples. This approach is a liberation from the traps we set for ourselves. How often do we get ensnared in regrets, replaying past mistakes like a broken record? How often do we spiral into anxiety, imagining futures that may never come? Zen cuts through that noise, gently pulling you back to the present, the only place where life truly unfolds. In this moment, right here, right now, you're alive. Joy, sorrow, triumph, defeat, they're all just waves passing over the surface of your existence. They don't define you, they decorate you, adding texture to the infinite calm of your true self. To live with Zen is to stop fighting your humanity and start embracing it. It's to meet every emotion, every experience with curiosity and grace, knowing they're part of the dance. You don't need to be perfect, because perfection was never the point. You just need to be here, fully present, fully alive, letting the ripples of life flow through you without holding on. That's where freedom lies, not in escaping your human heart, but in diving into it, fearless and whole. Life is a vibrant game of energy, a breathtaking symphony of ebb and flow. It surges upward, then dips low. It twists, it turns, it spins in wild, unpredictable spirals. You can spend your days wrestling with this current, clinging to the familiar, fighting tooth and nail to keep things frozen in place. You can grip tightly to routines, relationships, or dreams, hoping to anchor yourself against the tide. Or you can choose a different path, to learn to swim, to let go, to trust, to surrender to the rhythm of the current and let it carry you where it will. And here's the magic that awaits when you make that choice. When you stop clinging, you don't dissolve into nothingness. You don't lose yourself or fade away. Instead, you become the flow itself. You transform into a cloud drifting across an endless sky, weightless, untethered, and free. You become like a river, carving its path through the earth with effortless grace, unburdened by resistance or regret. You merge with the dance of existence, your every movement in sync with the heartbeat of the universe. This is no mere survival, it's a radiant, joyful participation in the cosmic waltz. There's nothing to fear when you awaken to this truth. You're not separate from the whole. Every moment, every change, every challenge is woven from the same boundless energy that courses through the stars, churns the oceans, and pulses in your own beating heart. Life is a dance, and you're not just a dancer. You're the music, the rhythm, the movement itself. You're the melody that soars and dips, the beat that drives the universe forward. When you embrace this, fear loses its grip, and every twist of fate becomes an invitation to move, to create, to live fully. So the next time you feel like you're sinking, when life's waves seem too high, too fast, too overwhelming, pause and take a deep breath. Release the need to control every outcome, to understand every mystery, to hold on to what's slipping away. Trust the water to cradle you. Trust the dance to guide your steps. You are not alone adrift in a hostile sea. You are not lost, scrambling for a lifeline. You are exactly where you're meant to be, flowing, changing, gloriously alive. Let go, and let the current sweep you into the beauty of the dance. You are the energy of the universe, and every moment is your chance to shine. So, where are you? Right now as you're watching this, are you curled up on your couch, riding a bus, or sneaking a moment at your desk? What part of this Zen story hit home for you? Maybe it left you feeling lighter, like a weight's been lifted. Or maybe it stirred up some unease, like you're standing at the edge of something vast and unknown. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Every story you tell, every reflection you offer, is a ripple in the great pond of existence, and I'd love to hear yours. If this journey into Zen resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let's keep exploring the deepest corners of ourselves, one story, one dance, one moment at a time. We want to sincerely thank you for taking the time to watch the video in its entirety. If you're interested in exploring more topics on spirituality, inner transformation, or mind philosophy, don't forget to subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or, if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time,